All right, today we're going to do a quick video walk around and review of this 2015 Dodge Challenger V6. This sure is a beautiful car, especially with those great vinyl decals with the red Dodge stripes right there on the front. It also has really neat wheels that kind of liken it to a Hot Wheels car almost. Somebody had made that comment that with those wheels, it's a spitting image of a Hot Wheels car. And truly, with these new Challengers, or with the old ones even, there is not a bad angle on this car. Every angle you look at just looks mean, or beautiful, or great, or awesome, however you want to look at it. It's just a great looking car. I've always loved the front grille on these with the top of the lights cut off. I think that's a great look, especially when they're on.
Many people wouldn't consider a V6 Challenger because they think they are getting an inferior product. Well, they are wrong. Although the V8 Challenger still outsold the V6 in 2015, largely in part to low fuel prices, the V6 Challenger has a lot to offer. First and foremost, the V6 Challenger has all the same muscled up looks as its V8 brother, but costs much less. In addition to paying less to buy one, you will also pay less at the pump, with the still sporty V6 getting better fuel economy, and pay much less for car insurance and maintenance. So you pay less for insurance, gas, and to buy it, and yet you still get the very sporty appearance. You may be thinking that it is all show and no go. You would be wrong. This exact 2015 Challenger has a recorded 0 to 60 time of 6.4 seconds, which is pretty fast. That performance is helped out by a new 8-speed transmission that was introduced for the 2015 model year. So although the V6 Challenger won't rocket down the road as fast as the Hemi V8 car will, there is still no reason to shy away from a drag strip.
We're going to start this tour in the back and kind of in the trunk area. Here is the key fob. So with this vehicle, you never need to touch the key fob whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and lock it with the fob, but I'm going to show you why. So, as you can see right there, there's a small rubber button for the trunk, and those buttons, you're going to find them in a couple other places. You only need to walk up and push that button, and if the vehicle senses that the key is nearby, you are able to get in and access the trunk. So again, keep the key in your pocket, in your purse, wherever on your person. You never need to touch it with this vehicle, and I'll continue more on that later. So you've got a fairly good sized trunk. This particular one comes with nice and sporty matching seat covers that kind of go with the red decals on this vehicle. Of course, very attractive taillights. Those are quite nice and they look great when you're turning on. I'm going to go ahead and use the fob to unlock the car to show you what they look like. They all light up, and that's a cool look, I think. All right, let's go ahead and lock it again. You've got a very cool, sporty fuel cap. I like that. This particular one does have new tires on those cool Hot Wheels wheels. And here's another part. You don't even need to push that button. So with this vehicle, let's lock it again. You simply need to put your hand behind the handle and you'll open it. Very attractive interior. Simple and yet elegant is what I would call this. Let's go ahead and lock it again and go over to the driver's side and show you that same thing there. There's the front lights lighting up as you lock it. Love the grille, just love the grille in the front end of these. So again, vehicle is locked. Walk up, boom. Nice door panel. It looks excellent with the white stitching that is continued throughout the vehicle there, as well as in the center console. It's an attractive vehicle even when you're just about to step inside. It looks nice and inviting.
Inside the Challenger, you will find a very comfortable and well-equipped interior, with plenty of creature comforts and technology. The updated interior is driver-focused, and everything is easy to understand and operate. It's not hard to forget that you are driving a muscle car when you are surrounded with such a nice and quiet cabin. Interior noise is very low for such a sporty car, and you get more legroom than both the Camaro and the Mustang.
All right, getting into the 2015 Dodge Challenger, you're greeted in the gauge cluster screen by a prompt telling you to press the brake and push the start button, which is right here. And that is the final step in what I was saying of that you never need to remove the key from your pocket or purse. Have it just on your person, that's all you need for this vehicle. Let's go ahead and push the brake and start the vehicle. So that is the screen that you're greeted with. You do also have a touchscreen. Very nice, easy to use climate controls. A appealing kind of center console miscellaneous area here. You do have two cup holders. I like how they're staggered or diagonal like that. This little kind of storage cubby right here. And this material right here is actually metal. This is not plastic. So you've got this nice metal that continues through this area, and that is a nice and complete look there. And again, you've got this white leather stitching that goes around the vehicle and around the center console, continues like so. I think it's a classy touch and design. Underneath in the center console storage area, you've got a place to put an SD card, a USB port, an auxiliary plug-in, as well as your traditional 12-volt outlet. And it's a fairly good sized little storage compartment there. Not huge by any means, but I would not call it too small. This one does have the nice Dodge logo with the two red stripes, matching floor mats. You've got a good sized glove box with a fairly large storage area on the bottom. And those little cubbies on the top, presumably for stuff like your owner's manual, and then perhaps insurance and registration information off to the left there. I like the Challenger AC vent. The vents are integrated well. They don't look like they were just slapped on there. You've got 4 on the top, and of course your defoggers and your foot vents. Up top, we've got the traditional sunglasses holder, as well as map lights. These are the dome lights for this vehicle. Are these two little ones right there? I kind of like those, I do. Oh, let's close that door a little bit more properly. There we go. Another neat thing is, I don't know if you can see, but when you open the door, the power window goes down just a little bit to make sure that the glass does not get in the way of shutting it, because this door is, I don't know what you call it, rimless or frameless for the window. So you close it, and then it goes back up. Let's go ahead and go into this screen a little bit here. So you can see the first one is the speedometer. Actually, let's go the other direction. So number 2 is vehicle info. You've got tire pressure, and I love that this shows the individual tire pressures of all the tires. That is a huge deal for me, because I can't tell you how annoying it is for me if I've got a low tire pressure warning light come on, and then I've got to go outside and guess which one is low, or try to get lucky, or just test all 4. If I've got one tire that's low, it's going to be nice to know that, hey, it's the front driver's side tire. Go out, fill it up, get it repaired, whatever. I know that's what it's at. I know what level it's at. You know, sometimes when you get that low tire pressure warning, you panic. You think, oh no, I'm going to get a flat. But this system, let's say the light comes on at 29 PSI. If you check the tire pressures on this screen here and it says 29, you know you're still good to drive, at least to the nearest tire shop. Let's go ahead and go through the vehicle information here. So next is coolant temp, which you also have that on the left side of the screen. The right is the fuel gauge, as well as the shift selector position. Let's go ahead and continue. Next is trans temp, which is very helpful that this is here. Of course, I just started the vehicle up, so it's still going to be on the cooler side. Next, oil temperature. oil pressure, which that is another big deal for me because a lot of cars these days aren't even showing oil pressures. Oil life, battery voltage, and then back to tire pressure. Let's continue. So 3 is performance. 0 to 60 timer, which is cool. You can go and time your 0 to 60 times. This particular car is showing a best time of 6.4 seconds. Now, it was not me who did that, but it's cool that it keeps record. Next on the performance screen is braking distance. That's kind of neat that you can measure that as well. And then back to the 0 to 60 timer. Go ahead and go down to number 4 with fuel economy. So, again, we have been doing a lot of sitting still and idling in this vehicle, so it's currently showing 14.2. You are going to average significantly better than that with this having that V6. Let's see. It appears as though that is the only screen for the fuel economy, or the only option for the fuel economy screen. So we'll continue down onto screen number 5, which is trip info. We're currently on trip B, so I do believe that we can, we've got trip A and B. So go ahead and continue to number 6, audio. So this is going to be showing, let's say if you had your phone connected via Bluetooth, it's going to show what track you're on, the artist and stuff like that. Continue to 7, messages. So again, if you have your phone connected, this would be an area where you would be able to see your phone messages. And lastly, number 8 is screen setup, where you can adjust your options and stuff like that. We'll go ahead and upper left, upper right. So let's see, upper left, range. Oh, okay, I see. So that range up there, time, outside temperature, if you see that changing over there. Oh, compass as well. None, you can have it blank. That's kind of a nice option. Trips, current, of course we're getting 0 miles per gallon. We're not moving. Range, all that good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and let's go back. All right, so that is the center information screen there. Lots of useful information, as well as you can customize it quite a bit. Here on the steering wheel, you have your settings, or rather your controls for that center information screen. As you can see, that's what that controls, as well as your phone accept and deny and voice commands option. On the back of the steering wheel on both sides, you have buttons to control your stereo system, and then on the right you've got your cruise control. So, moving on down, I'll give you a closer look at the climate controls, as well as some of the audio controls. You've got your tuner and browser on the right, as well as your volume button on the left. You have sport mode, hazards, back, which I'm assuming is for the touchscreen, as well as traction control off if you want to rip some sweet burnouts. And then you've got very simple and easy to use climate controls. I quite like these. And of course, when you do turn on the climate controls, they show up on here. This lets you know that they've been turned on. And then up on the top of that screen there, as you can see, I'm adjusting the fan speed, and it's going to display where everything's at right there. We'll go ahead and turn them off. Climate off. The back seat here is well appointed. You've got nice comfortable leather armrests on the side, as well as in the center with 2 cup holders, which is not something you're going to see in most 2-door sports cars or muscle cars. The seats back here are designed the same as the fronts, with that nice white stitching. You do have rear climate vents, which is fantastic for your rear seat passengers here. However, I am 6'1", and I find my head touching the ceiling, as well as my knees are touching the seat ahead of me. However, being 6'1", I also have this front seat adjusted pretty far back, and yet I am still able to fit. Just barely, but I am able to fit back here. All right, so first impression of driving the 2015 V6 Challenger. Although I've already driven it around a little bit, First impression is that it's something that myself or somebody else could very easily daily drive. You know, this is a car that rides surprisingly smooth and drives very easily. You know, there's no learning curve with this vehicle. It, you know, as long as you're driving it tamely, it's a regular car. The seats are firm, but still fairly comfortable. Although this is still a very sporty car, this is by no means a small sports car. It is still a fairly wide, which helps for stability, but a fairly wide and large automobile, and you feel it here in the interior. The interior is plenty spacious. Not to offend anybody, but you could be a very large man or woman and still feel right at home and feel comfortable and not too tightly confined. So far, gliding down the road with pretty standard regular driving is a breeze. It's a pleasure. This car truly has no issue being a daily driver. It's smooth, it's comfortable, it's very quiet in here. I don't know if you can get that through the camera there, but it is very quiet, especially for a sports car. Or muscle car, rather. Alright, I know you guys want to see me open this up a little bit and get my impression of the V6 as far as a performance standpoint. Now, I don't really want to do too much crazy speeding here, but this is a fairly secluded road with very little traffic, so we should be able to at least get the full feel of its acceleration. Alright, let's do it. Woo! That was 70 miles an hour already. This car has no problem getting up and moving. You know, for anybody who is concerned with getting the V6 over the V8, you really should have no concern. I mean, unless you plan to, unless you're planning for all of the financial cost of the many tickets you will receive, this is plenty fast. You don't need the V8, but as you just saw, you know, I went from probably 15 to 70 in no time. You know, this thing, it did great. You know, another advantage of the V6 over the V8 is if your only concern is not performance and looking cool, sounding cool, all that stuff, and if you are also purchasing it for daily use, you know, you're not just buying a vehicle to take down the track or to race kids in their Hondas at stoplights and stuff like that, it's quiet. The V6 is so much quieter than the V8. I'm sure if you put an aftermarket exhaust system on this, it's still going to sound lean and mean, but as far as stock like this one, it's quiet. It's nice. It's a quiet, smooth riding, easily daily drivable vehicle. Just no problem daily driving this. You know, you're gonna look mean and look fast, and you are still kind of mean and fast, but you're still gonna be able to take it to get groceries. You know, you got a good sized trunk, you're gonna be able to pick up the kids in the back. It's got car seat hookups back there. This is totally a car that you can use each and every day, and it's not gonna break the bank to do so with insurance and with gas.
If you are looking for a comfortable car with just enough power to give you butterflies in your belly, but not so much that it breaks the bank, the V6 Challenger is a great choice. You can't go wrong with a really cool looking car that is cheap to own, cheap to maintain, and that feels this good to drive.